Welcome to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm John. We're a couple of overweight barbecue enthusiasts trying to share our love for sweet and smoky food with the world.
Thanks for hanging out with us as we talk about life, share recipes, successes, and failures that have all led to our love of cooking outdoors. Welcome everybody to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. I'm Mike here with John.
You nailed that.
I feel good about it. I'm going to be honest.
Great intro.
I feel good about it. Sitting in the parade chairs today, John.
I know.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I feel like I have no posture, but I'm super comfortable.
I was going to say, I kind of love them.
These are chairs that John and Haley got for our float in the parade. How's the parade, John?
I had fun.
Was it everything you imagined it would be?
I don't know. I was down for it, mostly because it was making you so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I wasn't dreading it the way you were dreading it. But I had fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought it would be awkward, and we'd get there, and it's a town where we know almost everybody. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had fans. Friends. I don't know if you'd even call them fans, but really good friends on every corner of the parade route. So it was good to feel support, but also kind of awkward.
It was good to feel support, but it also, like, there were a lot of people that saw the float, saw what it was, and they were just like, I like those guys.
Yeah. I felt like we connected with a lot of people.
Yeah.
For sure.
Lots of guys. There was one guy. Did you see the guy? He was on the corner, on the second corner of the parade.
Okay.
That had like a shirt with cut off sleeves and larger rotund guy. Yeah. And he was just like, my people. He was pretty excited about us being there.
It was fun. I felt a little awkward, but I had Hallie there. She was my little awkwardness buffer, and she was just felt like a princess waving at everybody. So
yeah. Clay got on there at the end, and he was rocking it.
It was good. So let's talk about the float a little bit. John did basically everything.
I was feeling pretty like small town, little redneck-ish, as we were putting together the float.
I think it looked great.
It looked good, but so we got banners printed out that said, Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. It had the logo, had a QR code to scan and subscribe. And I put shameless advertising on the back of it for Hayden Barbecue, trying to get some pellet sales to go.
As well you should have.
So that looked nice. Like, we built some wood frames behind it, put it there.
Yeah, it looked very nice.
And then the day before, Haley was like adamant that we do something. Like, I was just planning on us standing up there and waving at people, and like, that was going to be it. But she was like, you have to have something to sit on. Like, you need like a love seat or something. I was like, okay.
Can you imagine the two of us just snuggled up on a love seat?
That's what I said. I was like, by love seat, I think you mean couch.
Yeah,
because
full size.
Yeah, because Mike and I would be sitting on each other's laps. It's bad enough on Sundays up there on the stand.
Yeah, poor Bishop.
But, so Haley was adamant. So we went to the DI, Desert Industries. It's Goodwill for our non-Utah followers.
Yeah, or Salvation Army.
Yep. So we went in, and there was it was ugly, man. It was almost like a denim type fabric, but it had this horrible floral print on it, and like a bunch of oak like accents on the arms and stuff. Something that your great-grandmother definitely had in her house.
That everybody's great-grandmother had in her house, for sure.
And Haley was looking at that, and then I saw I saw these 2 orange chairs.
Yep.
That were $12 each. Down at the end of the furniture section. So I had a couch when Haley and I got married. Mm-hmm. That was made from this orangish velour material.
I love it.
It was a sleeper sofa.
Uh-huh.
And I loved that thing. It was the best nap couch. Right length, arm was just high enough to put your head on. It was perfect.
Sure.
Haley hated it.
She wasn't a fan, huh? Because of looks or because of performance?
Because of looks. Yeah, she didn't even want to sit on the couch.
Because it looked gross?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways, when we moved into our house, I got rid of it. And it broke my heart a little bit. So to have her adamant about us getting something and seeing these, I knew it was a match in heaven.
Yeah.
And then she had the audacity to make a comment.
Audacity.
You want to tell everyone what Haley said?
If I recall, Haley said, "Yeah, those seem about on brand."
I'm not sure how to take that.
I'm a little offended by it, I think. But also, here we are sitting in them. So.
After she hated on my couch so hard. But yeah.
I feel like these were the lazy boys of the 50s, maybe? I don't know. 70s, 80s. When people were a little smaller, maybe.
Yeah, they're old, but
Hobbit lazy boys.
They're still comfy.
I like them.
I'm a big fan.
I do. I mean, it's awkward trying to look at you through our microphone stuff.
I know.
Which will help us look at the camera a little more, I guess. But also on the float, we tried to do some aromatherapy.
Oh my gosh!
For people.
When we got off, I looked at my phone and it was just inundated with text messages.
Oh, really?
Of all sorts of people that I knew that had been there, and they're like, "You had the best smelling float."
Heck yeah!
And I was like, "Man, it's kind of a low bar. There are horses, five floats ahead of us." But I got to work, and one of my coworkers was like, "I'm still hungry,"
just from smelling.
Yeah, but. So
That's awesome.
You had a genius idea, and I think you said it was Malcolm.
Yeah, I saw Malcolm Reed do it once on one of his videos. But so we used my drum. We've talked about the ugly drum smoker before. Just has a charcoal basket in the bottom. Used the propane torch, the weed burner, to light it, and it took 5 seconds instead of 30 minutes like it usually takes. So awesome. I immediately went to Harbor Freight and got me one of those.
Did you really?
I did. But anyway.
The 20% off coupon, man. It'll do it for you.
Yep. Anyway. And then we got our coals hot. We dropped some hickory and some apple, right? Is that what you gave me?
Yeah.
And kind of just spread the wood chunks out. And then we sliced an onion in half and put it on the coals. And dude.
It smelled so good.
It was awesome. I mean, I don't know that it did. It probably flavored the ribs a little bit, but it was more just smelt delicious. Probably added a little bit of humidity to the drum, and I don't know that I'll ever not do that if I have an onion, no matter what I'm smoking. It was awesome.
Well, and the cook finished long after the parade was done.
Yeah.
But what did the onion look like? Was it all dried up and black and charred?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even see it in there, so it must have kind of
burnt off.
Yeah, it burned itself off. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It worked out good.
Yeah, and it really did. It just smelled fantastic.
It did smell good. I hope that the people on the side, my wife said she couldn't smell anything, but she has allergies most of the year. So
oh no, I got several comments about it.
Oh, good. That was the plan. We wanted to try to, like I said, give some aromatherapy. We're going to come out with a candle soon, the Fat Guys of Smokers candle, which will be rib smell with an onion burning. But yeah, it was all right. I mean, would I jump right back on the float? I don't know. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. There was another podcast in the parade.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a D&D podcast, I believe, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And I mean, those guys were into it. And they were dressed up, their float looked great, and I thought, man, if these guys can have the confidence to do this, I can wave at the crowd and waft my rib smoke at them.
Yeah. Which, and right or wrong, I feel like being overweight and cooking meat is far more socially acceptable than LARPing in a parade.
Yeah, I agree.
But man, they were into it.
They were, man. They had their whole families dressed up, and
I do not have the confidence required to do D&D to that level.
And I envy the people that do. That was pretty impressive. I've actually never played. I've heard it's fun, but
yeah, I don't know anything about it other than what I've seen on TV.
Me neither.
So, it's funny, Mike. You say you won't jump right back on the float. There's another parade in your hometown, of all places.
Where I teach, man. Where I teach high school. Can you imagine the hundreds of kids I know that are gonna...
And if they subscribe to the podcast, I'm down for it.
Jeez. Listen, if we get 2,000 likes...
I'm not doing 2,000 likes.
Come on, it worked great last time. We asked for 50. We got, what? 120 or something?
No, we were right at 100.
Oh, really? If we get 150...
Okay.
All right.
150.
150 or I'm out. Because that's a long parade and it's a hot parade.
Is it much longer?
Yeah.
I thought it was just down Main Street.
It is, but it's long. You go forever and it goes slow and there's a billion floats and stuff, so.
Okay.
But anyway.
I mean, we've already got the float.
We do, and you did a great job, and I feel bad never using it, but...
Come on, Mikey.
John. We'll see.
150, everybody.
We'll see.
I need your help. Call your friends.
Call your senators.
Maybe don't call your senators.
Yeah, don't do that, actually. Did you know, though, my brother was going to Europe. His passport expired. He didn't know. And they said, call your senator. And he did. Yeah. He called Mitt Romney's office, and they expedited it. I did not know that was a thing.
Yep, senators can pull some strings for you.
That's pretty awesome. So...
They got to earn their bucks somehow.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard of a senator doing anything useful. At least for,
Come on.
For the modern
I think
middle-class man.
Let's not get into the politics, but I think senators and, the House of Representatives, I think they actually do more that impact local communities than any other
group
in the government.
You're probably right.
So,
go vote, everybody.
That's right. You don't get to complain if you don't vote.
True that. That's the only reason I vote, so that I have the right to complain. Well, let's get off politics.
Yeah,
let's talk barbecue.
Well, you've got a shout out.
I do.
You found a friend up north.
I've been watching this guy for a while, and if I remember right, he is a Yooper from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
What is a Yooper?
Someone from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. A Yooper. Encountered many of them on my mission. Great people, but heavy, accent, good people, but I believe he's one of those. Old.time.hawkey is his handle.
Are you sure it's Yooper and not Upper? I'm
pretty sure they say Yooper. Upper would make sense.
But is that just because they've got bad accents?
I don't know. They spell it Yuper, I think.
Oh, okay, then it probably is Yooper.
Yooper, maybe it's French.
Yooper?
Yooper. I don't think it's French. I'm pretty sure German. It's Yooper. Listen, I don't speak Spanish. Oh, yeah. Anyway, sorry everybody. No, I hate Instagram. I was just going to look on his story. I watch him a lot. Old.time.hawkey. So he's a Yooper, and he'll just go on walks with his two dogs, Donnybrook and... Shoot, now I can't remember what the other one's name is. Fritz.
What kind of dogs?
They look like herding dogs. So Australian Shepherds, Border Collies, something like that. But he'll just go like on walks and just go off the side of the trail and cook. And it looks amazing. He'll always cook on his cast iron skillet just over an open fire. Has some amazing recipes that just look phenomenal. One of my favorite things to watch is him just make like burgers. He had some barbecue nachos on here the other day that looked phenomenal. The best part about him is he's super chill. Like every video starts with him being like, "Hey buddy, how are you? I hope you're doing well." And he's just super chill. Like, I think people legitimately listen to him as they're trying to fall asleep because he has a very like calming.
I'm just checking out
voice.
his mustache.
Yeah, mustache is legit.
Oh
The
my
handlebars.
gosh, man!
Yeah, man.
Like he'd make Luigi jealous.
Yeah, dude. He is awesome. So, anyway, Old Time Hawkeye, go check him out if you haven't already. He's fun to watch. He does so much more than just cooking. But I mean, I could watch him all day. He's just very calming to watch. So, yeah, that's my shout out.
I'm excited. Yeah, I had never followed him before, so
I think you'll enjoy.
I'm excited for
I
this.
found him on TikTok a few years ago and just so calm, and you know, every video you're just like, I feel relaxed just watching. So,
I know. I guess you've mentioned TikTok a couple of times. We just decided before this. Mm-hmm. We're going to TikTok, everybody.
we're gonna do it.
So,
we're gonna do it.
Maybe by the time this is live tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe.
It should be pretty simple, but we'll figure it out.
Mike's our TikTok expert.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes.
Nice.
But yeah, we'll give it a shot. So check us out on TikTok if you watch TikTok. If not, apparently the Chinese are going to steal all our information, so stay off of it, I guess.
Look, folks, if you haven't figured out yet, everything's already all over the internet, so...
True that. True that.
Lie to yourself all you want. Another thing that talking about old-time Hawkeye reminded me of, you've got an announcement. Your family grew this week.
Dude, we did. We grew. And, yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere. So I've got a dog, and I love him, and he's awesome. Duke, great dog. Getting kind of old, and I was thinking recently, I was like, man, now that he is finally, like, behaved and well-mannered, if I'm going to get another dog, I ought to get one now while he's still spry and can kind of hopefully teach him some things. I mean, thinking about that, like, very, I don't know, like I was not looking for another dog. But my buddy Derek, his dog had puppies, and they were giving them away for a pretty good deal. And I just showed Whitney and was just like, hey, check this out. Don't they look cute? She's like, I mean, it would be a good time. And so we got a little puppy.
I was going to say you were like halfway to the car before she finished.
I mean, she didn't have to fight me on it for sure.
Nice.
But yeah, Mosby. Named after Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother. I think we've mentioned that on this podcast, but he's a good little dog, little chocolate lab pointer mix. So
he is one of the best looking dogs.
He is totes adorbs.
Yeah, he's got a great color to him.
Yeah. So, yep. We're excited. The kids love him. They're having a good time. We're learning, again, how to kind of, the puppy stage. They're so cute, and I think that's God's way of making you not kill them because they're also super needy and anyway. But it's good.
I don't know, man. Beans has decided that 4 a.m. is now when he wants to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. The last couple, and it's been like the last week, he's been like, just like, he's always been like so scheduled, like such a creature of habit, which was fine because like he actually got me out of bed at 6:30 when I needed to be up, and so I could be to work on time.
Right.
But yeah, it's like worked its way up to like 4 a.m. and I'm just dying.
Boo.
Yeah.
Don't care for that.
I do not care for that at all.
Yeah. Moses still getting up 3 a.m. every night and then 6 a.m. in the morning. So we're working our way. It's getting better.
There you go.
Gets better every day.
All right.
What are we talking about barbecue-wise today, John?
Meat.
We're talking meat today.
Talking meat. Have you seen that commercial with it's got Kevin Hart and I want to say Dwayne Wade, but I know it's not Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Johnson?
No, it's a different basketball guy.
Oh, I haven't.
Anyways, it's a credit card commercial, and they're like, "We're talking cash backing." Yeah, buddy, we're talking cash back. And that's all they say, just over and over, like at a press conference table. Anyways,
gotcha.
So we're talking meat.
We're talking meat.
Yep. But yeah, there's so many different types of cuts of meat out there, and different names for the same cut of meat.
Yeah.
Thought we'd dive in on at least on one cut of meat. We can talk about a couple of them because I learned about one like 20 minutes before we started recording.
Yeah.
And I closed Instagram, and I don't even remember what the name of it is.
It was. Shoot, I can't remember. It was from This Juke and Q, right?
Yep. From
and it
Adam.
was Benetti or something.
No, hang on.
It was a flank steak, but it was the French term for a flank steak.
It was the French term for flank steak. But while I'm looking this up, a little teaser. You want to tell everybody who's coming on the podcast next episode?
Our boy Adam.
Yeah.
Over at This Juke and Q.
Yeah.
He's going to join us. Adam's legit, man. He has arrived.
Yeah. He's got a cookbook. He's like all of his food's really good. He's got seasonings. Adam's the real story. So I'm excited to get him on and talk with him. He and I have been, chatting on and off for years as I got into barbecue, and so I'm really excited to have him on the podcast.
I'm excited. I'm nervous, but it'll be fun. Bavette.
Yeah.
Bavette.
Bavette.
Bavette? Bavette?
I don't speak French.
I took 1 year of French in high school, but doesn't matter.
Big shock. I was a lazy high school student who grew up in a house with a native Spanish speaker, so I took Spanish.
You took Spanish, nice.
Yeah. Which was great because I was such a bum. My sophomore year, I fell asleep in the back of my class, and
you're one of those.
Well, so freshman year we had this student teacher, Mr. Scott, and we gave him a ton of crap. But he was pretty chill about it, and anyways, he got hired on at the school to teach full time, and I was in his class the next year. So because he had been a student teacher the year before, we probably didn't give him the respect that he deserved. We're like, man, you can pretend like you're a teacher, you're always going to be a student teacher in our eyes, buddy.
Boo.
Anyways, he started to chew me out in Spanish, and I may have stood up and cussed him out in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And I still to this day remember him looking at me going, "You speak Spanish?" So, not one of my finer moments as a human being.
You've matured a lot, John.
But it was pretty funny just to look on his... he wasn't even mad that I had just, said a whole bunch of really dirty things to him. He was like, "You speak Spanish?"
Nice.
I was like, "Well, I've been in your class, haven't I?" So anyways, but yeah, bavette. It was a bavette steak or bavette. I don't know. Steak, but it's a flank steak. And I didn't... I had to Google it to find out what it was. So we thought it would be fun to talk about one of those cuts of meat. And I think this might actually be my favorite beef cut right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is saying something because, man, I love a ribeye. I love a ribeye with an intense passion, but I have been hooked on picanha in a major way lately.
Picanha. I cooked my first picanha.
You did?
We talked about this over the fire. It was pretty sweet.
This was unreal.
Yeah. That was the first time I had ever had it.
And, dude, you nailed it.
Bavette, it sounds like.
Bavette.
Yep. Yep.
Man, you gotta love the internet.
Right? I was just thinking, man, I wish we knew how to say that. And then I was like, oh, wait. It's 2023. Yeah, tell us about picanha, John.
Yeah, I mean...
Where'd it come from?
You've got the notes, too, but...
I do, but
yeah, so
close them.
Picanha, it comes, or was at least made popular in Brazil. And it's believed to have really gotten popular with the Brazilian cowboys. Ranching is a huge industry in South America, which I don't think many people realize, but Brazil and Argentina are huge beef producers.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that. Like our local beef plant is owned by
a Brazilian
company. Yeah.
Yeah. They're JBS is I think they're the largest beef.
Yeah, I think so by far.
Yeah, beef producer in the world.
I worked there during student teaching. It was awesome.
Was it really?
It was a sweet gig. Like I just put chubs of ground beef in a box for like 5 hours a night.
Dude.
And I planned so many lessons, just mindless work. Like I loved it. And the best part was they gave us like a tour of the facility before, so we basically watched a cow go from walking up the chute to packages. It was pretty cool.
Dude,
Anyway.
I would love to go. We may need to take a field trip.
I know some people. I wonder if
I was gonna say I know a couple of people too. I wonder if we work all of them at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. We'll have to see.
If we do that, I'll get my buddy that does video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Adam Thomas. Adam, if you're watching, listening, we owe you, man. But we may have to hire him to do the videography.
That'd be sweet.
But yeah, I ask him all sorts of questions like, "Hey, what color should I paint my studio?"
Oh, really? So he's
I'm looking at studio lights. What's important to pay attention to?
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah. But he does all of our stuff at work. He is a incredibly talented videographer and editor. So picanha,
mm-hmm.
It is the sirloin cap.
Sirloin cap.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure when I went to Costco to buy it, I could not find anything picanha, but I could find sirloin cap.
Yeah.
So that's important to note if you're going to go get some.
Yeah, it's
at least here in the States.
Yeah, the top sirloin cap. And Google this while I'm talking about this. There's a French name for it too. It starts with a C, I think.
Okay.
But so it really got popular with the Brazilian cowboys, the gauchos, because it was just a cheap cut of meat that nobody really knew what to do with. And the name picanha comes from the Portuguese word picanha, or picanha, if I could say that right. So picanha is the meat. Picanha is the skewer that is popular in churrasco barbecue.
Yeah.
So Tucanos, Rodigios, Texas de Brazil,
mm-hmm.
any of those, the big long skewers that they bring around.
Yeah, on swords.
Yeah, that sword is called a picanha.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the name picanha
comes from. I did not know that.
Yep.
And that's just how they cook it. Huh? It's kind of interesting. Honestly, I watched the Barbecue Showdown on Netflix, and that's where I saw them. They had to cook that way, the churrasco style. Yeah. And that night, I was like, I want to try some picanha. And that's kind of what got it started. The French name is, I think, culotte.
Yep.
Which is probably not how you'd say it in French, but that's what you're getting from a Hmong speaker. So
there you go. And there it is in the notes right there.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
No, it's all good. It gave me something to do.
Yeah. So it's just like it's a pretty tender cut of meat. It's got a really thick fat cap on it, but the meat itself is pretty lean.
Yeah.
So it ends up being really tender, like a filet or something else. But with that fat on it, it's got so much flavor.
Yeah, and you, like, at least if you're doing it in the churrasco style with the sword, you bend it into a C so that fat cap surrounds it and just renders into it. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So if you like that beef flavor, like, I think one of the best things you can put on this is just salt and pepper.
Yeah. I mean, I kept it really simple. I think that's all. Maybe I put some salt, pepper, garlic on it, like an AP rub or something, but man.
Yeah, you do that, and then in Argentina or South America, like, it's really popular to, and I just blanked the name of the sauce that you put on it.
Chimichurri?
Chimichurri, thank you. You put a chimichurri on it, or honestly, like, just on its own. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I tried to make a chimichurri sauce for the first time, and it was hot garbage. So it was way better without it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, keep practicing.
Yeah, I think if I nailed it, it would probably be great. But.
So let me look at the notes here. The other piece of this that, like, made it really popular, and this is, this churrasco barbecue, it's all about sharing. So it's not a get a big skewer of meat, put it on one plate and eat it. But it's a let's cut a little bit off and eat that and give some to the next guy and give some to the next guy.
I'm thinking like those Brazilian restaurants, they go around with that sword and you just have some tongs and they cut a little bit off and they go to the next table. Like that steak feeds multiple people.
So it was all about sharing. It was really popular in festivals and Carnival. But that's where Picanha really started to pick up its popularity. Was with the gauchos and out there cooking it over a fire just like you did. So that's where it got really popular. But that's the history of it. We've talked a little bit about the cut. It's kind of a triangular piece of meat. I saw somebody do it whole the other day, which was the first time I'd ever seen that. And I think it's important to say, like, we talk a lot about barbecue and low and slow on the podcast, but this is really a hot and fast cook.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I do them, I'm normally cooking it at least 350, if not 400 degrees, and it's done fast, which is another reason I'm a huge fan.
Yes, 100%.
And then you end up, with these little steaks that are, in a C shape, and you cut the edge off and slice into it.
Dude, they're phenomenal. Like, very, very good.
Yeah. So, and that fat cap is a really big piece of getting the flavor all the way through the meat.
Indeed.
But it's gotten popular in a lot of places.
Yeah, that's what I'm just reading. I mean, we've got Portugal, Argentina. It's pretty famous. Uruguay. How'd I do?
Uruguaysha.
Oh, I wasn't even close.
No, Uruguay is how you say it in English.
Uruguay. U.S., Japan, South Korea, Southeast Asia. Those are my people. Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Vietnam and Thailand, it's gotten popular as well. But
it's not an overly expensive cut either.
So I went to Costco the other night, and I'm trying to do something about my weight. I will still be a fat guy. No matter what I do, I will always be a fat guy. But I'm trying to shed a few libres. And I was walking through the meat department, and geez, man, all of the steaks were at least, like the sirloins were $10 a pound.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I don't want to spend this. I mean,
yeah.
Even the like flank steak and skirt steak were like $12 and $13 a pound, which just seemed
Really?
ridiculous.
Good heavens.
But the picanha was $6.99 a pound.
Really?
I was like, I can get behind this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I know ribeyes and rib roasts are going to be expensive.
Right.
And chuck's normally pretty inexpensive, and brisket's gotten really inexpensive lately. But to have more of that steak instead of a roast experience, man, you can't go wrong with picanha, and it'll feed a crowd.
Yeah. And I mean, and you kind of hit on this, but you can skewer it, and that's awesome and really fun. But you cook it like a steak. I mean, it's bomb. Like,
Yeah.
hot and fast, seared on both sides, done quick. You don't even need to smoke it. You could just sear it on the Blackstone.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little thick. I mean, it's going to take more than... It's probably going to take more than, the 12 minutes that you can cook a
that's true.
1-inch steak in. But yeah, certainly in less than 20 minutes, you're going to be eating fantastic beef.
Yeah. Maybe this doesn't apply, but what goes well with picanha? Like, side-wise, sauce-wise?
Well, sauce-wise, chimichurri.
Yeah, right.
So chimichurri is it's an oil-based sauce with I'm going to get this wrong now, and Danny's going to yell at me. Except Danny's not going to listen.
Danny, a big chimichurri fan?
Well, Danny spent 2 years in Argentina.
Is that where it's from?
Yeah, he served his mission in Argentina.
Okay.
So, I served mine in Peru, and we ate some meat, but Peruvians are not big on bold flavors.
Really?
Yeah. I ate a lot of chicken and rice.
It's healthy.
And rice and chicken.
And some chicken and rice.
Pollo y arroz. Yeah.
Nice.
Ate a lot of that stuff. And soup. Which I have never been a big soup fan. Especially when soup is the meal.
Right.
But especially when it's 115 degrees with 98% humidity in the rainforest.
Gross. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Taking a drink just because that makes me thirsty thinking about it.
Tell me, there is a reason I came home. So I left on my mission. I think I was 315. I came home at 185 pounds.
Good heavens.
I mean, I had an amoeba and 2 tapeworms, but
Have you seen that Office where Kelly, is trying to lose weight? She's like, Creed sold me a tapeworm. Then it cuts immediately to Creed, and he was like, that wasn't a tapeworm.
I'm telling you, man, it is one of the best diets out there.
The tapeworm diet.
The tapeworm diet.
You heard it here first, folks. The tapeworm diet. We'll be selling that in our Amazon store. So
highly don't recommend that. It was the weirdest part was and I won't even tell that story. Let's just say how I got rid of it was not fun.
yeah, I remember you telling me about it. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
What were we talking
chimichurri.
about? Yes. Stuff with picanha.
Yeah, so chimichurri, it's olive oil, parsley, cilantro, garlic, and crushed red pepper.
Yeah, red pepper flakes. Yeah.
I think are kind of the key components. A lot of salt, some black pepper.
A lot of different things that people put in, but I think that's the basics of it.
Yeah, so you take all of that, you blend it up or mash it up in a mortar and pestle, and you get some really great herby flavors that pair well with beef and the salt that you've got there.
Yeah, when I tried to make it, I think either my olive oil was bad or I just used too much of it because all I could taste was olive oil, and it was pretty gross.
Yeah.
So I'll keep working on my chimichurri game.
Yeah, the other thing that I think would be fantastic with it are some roasted potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
No. Big fan of, I'm a really big fan of the little baby potatoes.
Yeah.
Getting those and cooking them a little bit and then smashing them and grilling them so they're a little crispy.
Interesting. I've never done that. That sounds great.
Yeah.
We should have done that for our potato salad.
You mean the one that I dumped on the deck?
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to bring it up, John, because I'm still a little bitter, but whatever.
Hey, man, I am still mad about it.
Yeah. Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, if you want to go on a wild ride, go watch the Trigger Day episode. Yeah. Little Blair Witch project filming.
That's exactly how it was. I'm so scared right now. Oh, yeah. We learned a lot. We learned that we cannot be the star of the show and the cameraman.
Yep.
Yep.
We can leave the camera alone, or we need a cameraman.
Yep. So we'll be taking applications, send them to John. Make sure you have 3 references and your best John impression.
Best John impression?
I don't know. It's the first thing that came to my mind. I was trying to think of an actor, and then suddenly I just saw you and said John.
See, I went to Kevin on The Office.
Oh, yes. The chili episode.
Oh, my gosh.
I spent all day. It's pretty much the only thing that I'm good at. Oh, shoot.
I can't find my shoes.
They were destroyed, sir. They had to be incinerated. Oh, shoot. Anything else on Picanha you want to hit on?
No, I think that those are the big parts.
Yeah.
Like,
if you haven't tried it, go try it and let us know.
Yeah, try it out. Like, I love hearing the story, especially like something like a bunch of farm boys out in the field, like kind of took this scrap piece of meat that nobody liked, and now it's like it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's good. It's not overly expensive because it is one of those pieces, and yeah, I mean you buy. It's almost like a roast. You probably already talked about this, and then you just slice it up and turn it into C's. Pretty good stuff.
Yep. Bend it over and stick it on a skewer and cook her on up.
Speaking of things nobody likes, I was talking to a guy today that lived in South Africa for a while.
This could be interesting.
Yeah. They ate something that he called smiley. And I don't know if that's a name he gave it or what the locals call it. But they take the head of a goat.
Oh, man.
They take a weed burner and just burn the hair off of it. Mm-hmm. And then they cut it in half. They take the brains out and rub it all over, like, the cheek meat.
Yeah.
And then they roast it. I can't remember if he said they boil it or they roast it for like 2 or 3 hours. He said it was phenomenal. He said, I had to help prepare it, and I was, like, dry heaving most of the time. And I took everything I had to try it, but it was really good.
I'm going to give the credit to the cheek meat.
Yeah. Not the brains? Or the burnt hair?
Look, man, I will eat almost anything once.
Uh-huh.
I may not go back for seconds, unless my wife made it, and then I have seconds of everything she makes for the first time.
Yep, and it's the best thing ever.
Yep. And while I was in Peru, man, I ate grubs. I ate all sorts of weird fish, and I ate cuy, which is basically wild guinea pig.
Really?
It's delicious.
Hold on to this, because I think we should just do an episode about crazy crap you ate and crazy crap I ate, and see what else we can do.
That.
That would be actually pretty sweet.
I mean, I ate some really weird stuff.
It's crazy that we haven't talked about this, because I had a kid in my class that moved to Peru for like 3 months this year and came back and was like, oh, dude, guinea pig is everywhere.
I think we did talk about this.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Right on, like, the foothills of the mountains in the jungle. Like, they're everywhere.
That's crazy. And they just eat them. Mm-hmm. Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's like being in the South and eating a squirrel.
And it's good, huh?
It's way good.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. We should see if my neighbors will let us borrow one of theirs.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Not that good, huh?
Not. I am not buying a domestic guinea pig for
research, John. Just kidding. That'd be really sad.
But where I drew the line was they had a table that had a hole in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. It was they would bring a monkey in alive.
What?
Put the head up and push this collar in around and crack it open and eat raw brains.
Are you for real? Indiana Jones style?
Yeah, man.
Holy cow.
They did that and I was just like, I'm out. I'm like,
just raw, or did they cook it?
Oh, it was raw.
What?
Like,
that cannot be USDA approved.
Maybe they were just messing with me. Like, maybe like it was this big joke and like it was like, let's scare the missionaries. I can tell you it worked. I was terrified.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was.
Dude.
It was unworldly. But I went down and I think we've talked about Connie Crick and his
yeah.
You can eat anything with enough Casey masterpiece. There is not enough Casey masterpiece in the world to get me to try
just
that.
Eat raw monkey brains, dude. I second what you said. There's not a lot that I will not try. I don't think I could have touched that. That's the wildest thing ever.
It was crazy. It was the craziest experience I ever had.
Holy cow.
I got mugged and beat up druggies like.
Ugh. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm sure it's a delicacy. I'm sure it's a great experience if that's how you grew up. I just...
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, not for me.
So, well, on that disgusting note...
I know, let's talk about another kind of meat that... you had come up with kind of a list of other ones, too.
I did. I just threw a couple on here that I thought we could... that we could talk about real quick. I feel like we've talked a lot about tri-tip.
We have.
That's one that I thought of when we were just thinking of different types of meat.
Well, and it's funny because tri-tip's really popular in the western United States. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't find it east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, I think it's like a very California, I guess.
It was a big California cut.
Yeah. So a lot of those big barbecue guys probably don't do a ton of tri-tip, but I did tri-tip for Father's Day, and I have no regrets. Like, it's phenomenal.
It's awesome.
It's very good. John, what do you know about oxtail?
Like, really nothing. Like, I know it is literally from the tail, and typically braised, I believe. Mm-hmm. Like, it's
seems like that's what I've seen it, like boiled, like braised, in like deliciousness.
Yeah, it's in soups and stews, and but it's... I really don't know very much at all about oxtail.
Me neither. Maybe we should do a little research on that, but...
We should.
I've never tried it. I just wondered if it was any good. It looks like it's kind of expensive, though, so I don't know if I would really get into it, but... everything that I've seen on it is like in a stew.
Yeah.
One of those things they just chuck in there, let it boil down, make a delicious stew with different stuff in it.
Yeah, it's a lot of bone. There's a lot of bone marrow there, so you're going to get a lot of flavor out of it. Mm-hmm. So, but your next one on here is another one that people are always grossed out about when they see it at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I like tongue.
Really?
I've had, yeah.
How do you prepare tongue?
I've actually never made it, but like it's a little bit of a process because and I'm trying to remember everything about it, but it's really popular in Mexican food.
Well, and cow tongue has that really rough exterior, right?
Yeah, so you've got to peel it. So you boil it first, and then you shock it in cold water, and that kind of helps that rough exterior membrane separate from the inner like muscle meat. Okay. So then you cut off that membrane and that, like, the taste bud looking grossness. And then you've got the meat inside that you continue to cook, and I think a lot of times it gets braised again or cooked in a pressure cooker. Like, it's a tough piece of meat.
Well, it makes sense. It's like a solid muscle.
Well, yeah, and any muscle, the more the muscle gets used, the tougher that piece of meat is.
Be, yeah.
And the tongue, I mean,
used quite a bit
all
in the
day,
cow.
all day, every day, right?
Yeah.
But you do that, get it tender, and then sear it off on a grill and chop it up, put it in some tacos. I can get on board with that.
There was this taco place when I was growing up that came to town, and they had lengua tacos. Is that how you say lengua? Lengua tacos. And me and my buddy were like, dude, we got to try it. Like, we can do it. And I couldn't. Like, I ate it, but I couldn't get past the fact that it was a tongue, and I feel like I didn't give it a fair shot. Because it's got a different texture to it. And in my mind, it was just like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah, it's a little bit tougher piece of meat, but it's really cheap. But yeah, you can. I mean, Santos, Pacos, Rancheritos, any of those.
It's all over.
Yeah, any of the Mexican places here in town that do tacos.
Yeah. My buddy was telling me he remembers eating it growing up. Like, his mom would just throw it and boil it for like 3 hours, and then they just chop it up and eat it. He said it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't bad at all. But yeah. Cheek meat we talked about.
Yeah, cheek meat. That's where the money's at, man.
Yeah. Beef. It's creepy. It's creepy looking at it, but
beef cheeks, pork cheeks, goat cheeks are really good.
Apparently.
The whole rubbing the brain on it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but,
I wouldn't be on board for that. Or the burning of the hair. I just feel like smelling burnt hair is not going to turn my taste buds on.
No, that's... Yeah. I mean, you've smelled burnt hair before.
Yeah.
Like, that's the same...
Yeah, I've been out branding. It's not a good experience.
Yeah. Well, like, that's the same smell that you have, like, from a cautery tool in an operating room. Like, I was pre-med for a long time in my life thinking that's what I wanted to do, and spent a lot of time shadowing in operating rooms. That smell, man, every time, like, I would do everything I could to, like, prepare myself, and always the first cut, and, like, it was just like,
yeah,
no, I'm gonna be fine, let's move on.
Yeah, dude, burning flesh, no thank you.
That was so I did LASIK in the middle of COVID, and they offered me Valium before I went in. I was like, no, like, I don't really like that stuff anyways. I just don't like that feeling of not being in control of myself and, like, feeling like I'm floating.
Right, yeah.
So I turned down the Valium, and they're like, okay, I'm like, that's fine. And I got in there, and I was fine. Procedure started, and, like, it's super fast. But I almost, like, freaked out because I could smell the burning from my eyes.
Oh, dude. That would be like, too much for me.
That almost put me, like, over the edge.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's gross.
But
yeah, that'd do it for me.
Yeah. So you've got a couple others on here that I feel like are, they're a little more common, but are often undervalued.
Yeah.
Hanger steak.
Yeah, have you ever made hanger steak? Mm-hmm. Tell us about it.
I feel like it's kind of hard to find.
Yeah, I have never tried it because I've never seen it. I mean, I've probably eaten it before in my life. It looks like it's just in between the plate and the flank on a cow, kind of that in-between piece. Also known as a butcher steak.
Yeah,
or a hanging tenderloin. Yeah,
so it's a pretty tender piece of meat. Bearded butchers talk about hanger steaks on one of their videos.
That's where I've seen it. Yeah.
And I'm Googling here. But yeah, it was kind of like the butcher special. Like, it was a little bit of I'm going to hold this back because it's kind of ugly and it's not really big enough to put out to sell. Mm-hmm. But it's a really tender cut. Yeah,
apparently it's basically the only, like, cut that's more tender than it is the tenderloin. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, tenderloin, that's where the filet mignon comes from.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I've never had it, but I've seen some things on it. So.
Yeah, so This
So
is
not big enough for like a butcher to put out to sell then, which is why they call it the butcher's cut.
Yeah,
probably.
that's where it started.
They hang on to that.
Kind
of like the dad tax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The dad tax. I'm so glad you.
Oh yeah, dude. Whenever my kids get candy, they got to pay the dad tax, and then I take what I want.
Yeah.
I really don't, because then my wife gives me the look, and I'm like, all right, fine.
Oh no, Daly's just accepted. That's the way it's going to be.
She gets it.
So, yeah. So that's a great one. My phone's freaking out on me. Yeah, and kind of like the flat iron steak too. Like, I don't feel like it's as popular around here, so it's kind of harder to find. But man, they're great little steaks, and they're normally less expensive.
Right.
It's kind of like in that sirloin family of.
Yeah, that's kind of what I understood.
Price.
That it's more of a cheaper cut of meat, but you can put a lot of flavor into it, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. The last one on here is one. Man, I'm so excited that this is getting more popular, and it's way easier to find than when I started in barbecue. Yeah. That's pork belly.
You've talked about this before. Like, didn't you try to make your own bacon once?
We didn't try it. Like, we've made bacon a couple of times.
And it starts with pork belly, right?
No, it's where bacon comes from. And man, my boys love making bacon. Because making bacon is a long process. Because you have to cure the meat, and it's in a wet brine. So you take your pork belly and you put it in with this brining solution, and you use a special curing salt. And then you put it in the fridge. And every day you're supposed to go out and slosh it around and turn it over and make sure it's getting covered. And the boys love it.
Pretty into it. Huh?
Yeah, they think it's awesome to be able to go out there. That's what started our city slicker pig hunts. So,
right on.
Yeah, that started that process, and they love getting after it that way. But you can do a ton of other things with it. Like, it's great just to cook on its own.
I've seen pork belly burnt ends. They look phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's got a big old fat cap on it, which is where chicharron comes from, which are pork rinds. Like, that fat will crisp up, and if you remember when we were cooking Irv, we were struggling there at the end to get it hot enough to really do it, but we had a couple of spots where it started to blister up.
And got a little crackling from it.
Yeah, that crackling is really easy to achieve with pork belly. So you can have crackling attached to these just really tender, awesome morsels of pork. That and it's really popular in a lot of different types of cuisine. It's big in Asian flavors. It's obviously big in barbecue, bacon. So I really like it. I've had a couple of people send me a reel on Instagram about pork belly cinnamon rolls.
What?
Yeah.
So, do they cut it up and put it in cinnamon rolls?
No. So you take a pork belly, and it is a whole pork belly for everyone on the YouTube. Is it's probably, I don't know, call it 10, 11 inches by 20 or 24 inches, depending on the size. Think of the underside of a pig, that length.
Yeah. Okay.
So you take that, you butterfly it open, so now it's, go back to elementary school, we're going to open it hot dog style. Okay. Right? So now you've got this big long roll of pork that you put brown sugar and cinnamon on.
Interesting.
Roll it up like a pinwheel, tie it, slice it into those pinwheels, and cook it on the smoker. And then as you finish, you cover it in a brown sugar maple syrup mix.
Oh, I was afraid you were going to say frosting. I was going to be like, you lost me. No, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's like a glaze. Yeah, not a frosting.
Interesting.
So it's either going to be awesome or just gross. The brown sugar I'm fine with. It's the cinnamon that's got me a little...
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be down for that. I put brown sugar on ribs and stuff all the time, but...
I say that, but cinnamon's a pretty big flavor in Asian cuisine. Chinese five spice, one of the 5 spices is cinnamon.
Yeah, that's true.
Could be pretty cool.
I'm pretty sure we just drummed the exact same cadence on our chairs. That was wild.
Yep.
I'll have to rewatch the video because I think we did it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, we've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
But the more we do this, the more we
realize, like,
we might be the same person.
What did we do today? Oh, we were getting ready, and we just both bursted out into the exact same song at the exact same time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what song it was, though.
I can't remember.
Neither can I.
Well, anything else, John?
I think we covered it.
Sweet. Well, this Juke and Q next time.
Yeah.
Will be awesome.
Super excited for Adam to be on.
Yeah. I'm nervous, but I think we'll learn a lot. I'm pretty excited to talk to him, so.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam's the real deal, so make sure you tune in next time. I mean, if you've listened this far into the show, I feel like you're going to be there next time.
I mean, you're a diehard ride or die fan at this point, and we really appreciate you also.
Yeah.
It's not lost on us.
Here we go. Here's the test to see who's listening this long.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure my mom even listens this long.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my family's starting to fizzle.
Hit our Instagram. We'll put up a. This is how I'm gonna
No
push
cheating.
the likes. I'm gonna post a picture tonight of us and all of our kids on the float, asking for likes for round 2 in the Hiram Parade. 150 likes. But if you listen to this episode, I want you to pick your favorite animal emoji and put it in the comments.
And use that instead. Interesting. So we still get the like.
Yeah,
but
make sure you're gonna like it. But I need you to comment.
I like it. I'm on board. How depressing will it be if we get 0 animal emojis?
I mean, I've got like 5 Instagram accounts that I.
You can't use that. We got to see who's actually listening.
Yeah. So, just drop it there. Don't say why. Don't say anything else. Just drop your favorite animal emoji.
Love it.
And please don't break our hearts.
Yeah. Please do it. It'd be really sad.
So, until next time, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we're Fat Guys with Smokers. Thanks for listening to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't forget to tune in for even more nonsense from a couple of Fat Guys with Smokers.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.